This is an R2R network. The components are installed in the shape of a face for easier description of location on the panel. These eyes are the input and output connections for this circuit. We are using XLR as a two-channel connection. XLR has a lower profile on the underside of the panel and would less likely cause confusion with the users. For example, quarter-inch stereo jacks could work, but if one used a mono quarter-inch plug instead of a TRS plug, this project would not work properly. As shown here, the male jack is identified by the 3 pins sticking out of it. The female jack is identified by the 3 holes in it. The nose is a potentiometer. Turning this knob changes resistance, much like a dimmer for your lights. The 7 teeth of the mouth are binary switches. Flipping these switches changes the total resistance of the R2R network. The color scheme used for the wiring is as follows. Red wires are for the input signal or voltage, green wires are for the output signal after it's been through some resistors, and the black wires are for ground. The switches have 3 leads but have only 2 positions. In one position, the signal is added to the resistance network, thus increasing the output signal. In the other position, the network is routed to ground, thus decreasing the output signal. Let's compare these two resistance systems for a moment. Turning the potentiometer makes continuous changes in resistance, whereas flipping switches in the resistance network makes discrete changes in resistance. The potentiometer ideally has infinite resolution, representing all possible values between its lowest and highest resistance. The R2R network, on the other hand, can only represent 128 values. For example, if the highest resistance, or minimal output signal, represents the value 0, then the lowest resistance, or maximum output signal, represents 127. This is a representation of the circuitry and switches of the R2R network, and it is set up here on what is called a white breadboard. As one can see, the same red, black, and green wiring that is used on the R2R network is used here on this breadboard. The critters with the silver, thin wire legs that are also part of the R2R network are here on this breadboard as well. They are called resistors.